Ooh, you know, I'm going to give you a little, just a brief walk back through history, right? And I don't know, maybe many of you are not old enough to remember. But those that are, it'll be clear. You'll remember. So, do you remember George Bush Sr. dancing with the Kenyans? You remember him dancing with the Kenyans? What about Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton dancing with the Kenyans? You don't remember that? No? Then George Bush Jr. and Condoleezza Rice dancing with the Kenyans. You don't remember? Then, you know what they did? It was tricky. It was the fix. After George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, George Bush Jr., the next thing that they did was they got a Kenyan president. They got Obama, right? So now he is dancing with the Kenyans, and they're celebrating in Kisumu, right? And then he leaves, and now we have this new administration. They ain't been dancing with the Kenyans since. Obama was the last one. However, Joe Biden sent Kamala Harris into Kenya with $20 million, trying to get someone in Africa to embrace their gay agenda. And for that embrace, they would enrich the people of Kenya. And Kenya was like, get the fuck out of here. Kenya was like, get out of here, right? Kenya's not feeling that, right? Africa's not feeling that. And so the assistance that America and the colonizers have always offered Kenya has been toxic terms, where generally what they're saying is, we'll give you money, let us bring in our gay. Let us bring in our gay agenda into Africa. And all of the African countries been like, yo, what does food for babies have to do with your gay shit? Like, what? We're talking about bridges, roads, infrastructure. We're talking about business, right? Why are you coming with that gay shit? Right? And this has been going on for a very long, long time. So what does Donald Trump bring to the table? This is a very interesting dynamic. And it is a very interesting place where we are right now. Right? Very interesting. Because the United States of America is behind the 8 ball as it relates to Africa. The advances that China has made into Africa is significant. They are not small. And China is bleeding Africa, if you want to be honest. Brother Walter in Zambia, look at the copper ore that they're pulling out of Zambia every day. And with that copper ore, they got Australia strung out. You know what I'm saying? Australia is strung out. Australia can't do a damn thing. Can't do a damn thing that China don't mandate. Right? That's because of that copper. So the U.S. is behind in relation to access to resources and like that. So what is interesting that is beginning to play out on a global scale is that Donald J. Trump has the potential to be the first American president in history to actually benefit Africa. Look at what he just did in the Ukraine. In the Ukraine, he said, yo, look, we'll deal with you. Give us your minerals. Sign us over X amount of your mineral. And the president said, we don't like your deal. We push back. We need a little more. So what they're doing is they are negotiating. You understand? They're at the negotiating table right now, Ukraine's minerals for the United States being down. Okay? So what this means is you now have a leader of the United States of America that doesn't follow the game that has been played. Every other time United States went into Africa, they said, yo, embrace our gay, our LGBTQ agenda, and we'll give you all the money you want. And Africa was like, get out of here with your money. We ain't doing that, right? So it has always been some underhanded shit. Let's go back even further. It has been underhanded from the UK. It has been underhanded from Spain. It's been underhanded from the Chinese. It's been underhanded from every people, from the Dutch people, from every single people that have ever put their poisonous foot on the African continent. It has been underhanded for the first time in history. For the first time in history, the only real opportunity here is for someone to go in and say, yo, okay, I seen all them games. I see all that shit that's going on. Straight negotiation, cash money for X amount of your resources over time, like this. And that is likely what is about to happen right now. What is likely about to happen right now. They just opened up Fort Knox. They see all their gold, right? They see they just eliminated all of these federal jobs and all of these deals globally. So what happens is America is going to have a reserve of liquidity in very short order. A huge reserve of liquidity is going to occur. And so Donald Trump is poised to be perhaps the most beneficial president that has ever sat in the United States of America for Africa. Because what he will be doing is making cash deals, and he's not trying to bring in the LGBTQ bullshit. He's trying to secure resources for America. Got it. I got it. Understood. But we're going to a table in a different way. He needs to edge out China, and China is highly entrenched. He needs to edge out China, so he can't come in sideways with the okie doke. Furthermore, he's not that smart to unravel what everyone else has done. He's not that smart, and he's arrogant. So what he's going to do is he's going to come to the table with a large offer for given things. Let me tell you, Africa, pay attention. Pay attention and play this game right. Now, one of the very first things that you need to do, I mean, y'all know, I've been to more countries. Yeah, I travel Africa, right? Y'all know I know. I've been on the ground everywhere. One of the first things that y'all need to do in Africa, get rid of your leaders. Your leaders will make deals that will enrich only themselves. Get rid of them leaders. Get rid of them. Get rid of them, right? Because the people need to make these decisions. The land is yours. Land doesn't belong to the crown. Land doesn't belong to the government. The land is yours. The resources are yours. So now you're in a position where negotiation can happen on a global scale with some degree of parity. It ain't going to be the okie doke. There's too many eyes. It ain't going to be the okie doke. It ain't going to be if we can come in there with the LGBTQ. It's not going to be that. It's going to be straight. We need your coltan. America needs your coltan. Bypassing everybody else. Bypassing all those other channels. His arrogance. Let me tell you. It is his arrogance that is going to make this come true. He's going to bypass everybody else and try to gain that foothold. In what way? In what way is he going to try to gain that foothold in Africa? He's going to try to do it in a way that no Europeans and no other outsiders have ever done it before. He ain't got no other way but to come straight. We'll give you this. We're not talking about LGBTQ. It's what's on the table. I'll give you this for that over time. And that is what's about to happen. That is what's about to happen. So, in a conversation on a global scale about copper, you cannot extricate Brother Walter X, the legend. You cannot extricate Zambia in a conversation about copper globally. You can't. They have to be involved in that conversation. You cannot extricate DRC in a conversation about coltan and cobalt. You can't. There's no way to have these conversations globally without some of these players. You can't talk gold on this planet Earth and avoid speaking about Ghana or to Ghana. So the resources that cause this planet to run have always come from Africa. So now, what I'm suggesting is America's behind the eight ball. America's behind in Africa because they've been trying to sneak the LGBTQ in. Now it's different. It's a different day. I'm telling you. I don't root for no white people. Huh? I don't root for no white people. I'm rooting for everybody black. You understand? What I am saying is that of all of the United States presidents that have ever been, of all of the leaders, of all of the intentions to deal with Africa or to go into Africa, right now has the potential to be likely the most mutually beneficial time in human history. Never has Africa benefited from outsiders in any form. Never. Never has Africa benefited from outsiders in any form. Now, Trump's calling people to the table. You hear him? He's calling people to the negotiation table. Africa has the potential to come up in a real way right now. Right now. Ain't giving you nothing. Ain't nothing coming from the side. Ain't none of that bullshit. I know what you need. You know what I need. Let's sit down. Right? So Africa is in a very interesting position. And so are Africans across the planet Earth. Right? And I'm going to say it. I'll keep it a buck. Right? If, I was considering the parable in the Bible where 5,000 people went to Jesus and he had 3 loaves of bread and 2 fish, right? And he made that last for the entire multitude. Now you got to understand, you got to think this through, right? It's 5,000 people. Yo, I didn't seen you was 5 hours away in that line and you just stood there in the line. There's fish right in the water right there. There's fish in the water right there. You walking past fish, huh? Waiting for this man to give you some fish is what you did. So there comes a place where it is no longer appropriate that you show up day after day after day, hungry, waiting for some man to give you a fish, and yet you're walking past an ocean full of fish. It is not appropriate. There must come a point where you're no longer even considering whether that man teaches you how to fish or whether he gives you a fish. You'll learn it your damn self. You'll do it your damn self. And you'll be hungry until you learn it. And then when you learn it, nobody can take it away from you. You understand what I'm saying? So I continue to be so very optimistic in relation to where we are right here and right now. It is where we were supposed to be. Those with nothing but conscious talk, with double conscious woke words on their mouths, they ain't got no real plan. They got no real intention. They got no real driving spirit. They have no continuity. They're going to be confounded. This conversation is not for them. This conversation is not for them. Who they take names and I'm this, I'm that, and the other thing, all that bullshit, counting on the solvency of white supremacy, all that's not who I'm talking to. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to a whole different type of people. You understand? That actually see what this is and what's going on. Oh, I tell you what, it is a glorious time. It is a glorious time. And it will bring us back to where we're supposed to be. All the petty bullshit that we're involved in, all that shit's gonna fail. All that's going away. You ain't gonna be able to dance no more. Ain't nobody want to see you. Ain't nobody want to see a dancing monkey no more. Don't nobody want to hear no singing, dancing monkey no more. All your twerking, that shit ain't doing nothing. For I didn't see an ass do everything an ass could do. All that shit ain't doing nothing. If you ain't got no utility, you have no worth. Your worth is your utility, not your ass, not how pretty you are, not that you can sing and dance and you got people following you. That shit ain't gonna do it no more. That shit's failing. So I'm speaking to the people of utility who recognize how this planet runs and our position as a people and where we need to be. We need to be at the place where we are no longer asking anyone for a fish or asking them to teach us to fish, but we're producing our own motherfucking hatchery and making our own fish. That's where we need to be. Controlling our own water, not complaining about the motherfucking estrogen that he's putting in the water. Controlling our own food, not complaining about the GMO food and the nanoparticles in the food that he's giving to us. Controlling our own shelter and not complaining about the 5G towers and the shit that he's doing with the shelter that he's providing for us. Never complaining again. Doing for self. That's the answer. And let me tell you, it feels so much better. It feels so much better to be full men and women that ain't got to ask nobody. I ain't got to bow my head to no man. Huh? That feels so much better. It is a true sense of pride. Is it a true sense of confidence? Is it a true manhood and womanhood? That's real. And it can't be taken from you. So I suggest again, it's a beautiful day. It is a glorious day right now. And everything that is happening right now is what our ancestors prayed for. It is what they prayed for every day of their lives. And every single one of the members of our families going back 400 years, this is what they prayed for. The walls of Jericho are crumbling down. Now is our opportunity. And what's the opportunity to do? The opportunity is to demonstrate yourself as man. It is your opportunity to step up and demonstrate man, woman. It is your opportunity to prove to yourself that you are in fact men and women, not animals, not children, not sex toys, not clowns, not none of that bullshit. You're real men and women. It's time to do it. And now is the best time. Let me tell you. Why put off shit? Might not know where we're going, but it don't make no sense in being late. Let's roll. Let's go. So, very interesting thought thread relative to Donald J. Trump and what is soon to happen in Africa. They doing all that shit in the Ukraine and all that, UN and coming out of NATO and all that. They doing all that. Sooner or later, conversation must turn to Africa. Watch how it turns. It's going to be interesting. All right, y'all. Peace and power.